Tiramisu, you know it, we love it. This classic, it's rich yet light, it's creamy, it's fruity from the coffee and the cocoa. All you really want in a dessert without being overpowering at the end of a heavy meal. I just put my hand in it. So in this recipe, we're gonna cover how to make the coffee syrup, to how to soak the ladyfingers, to learn how to make zabayon for the mascarpone, and how to layer all these up. And set it in the fridge by using some ingredients like xanthan or gelatin to unlock a more stable tiramisu for a beautiful dessert. Let's get into it. Now we're gonna prepare the liquid we're gonna be using to soak the ladyfingers. In all of the tiramisu, this is the one component that has the coffee in it. So it's pretty important because you don't think of tiramisu without coffee. So for that base syrup, we're gonna be using 4 double shots of espresso. Sugar is gonna help just kind of round it out a little bit, take away a little bit of the bitterness, a little bit of salt. Because we're using marsala and the zabayon, I feel like it's a really great addition here because of the caramel notes and the fruity flavor to add that to the syrup. You don't wanna over soak these cookies because you'll end up with a really soggy tiramisu. Under soaked too, you're gonna be left with dry cookies. So having the exact amount of base syrup is great. Mocha pot would be the alternative approach that I think it would be great. Still packs a really kind of bold flavor, strong coffee flavor through the dish. I don't recommend doing a drip. There you have it. That's the coffee syrup. We're gonna set it aside till we're ready to soak. So this method for making the zabayon is more of a traditional approach using a bain-marie setup. Starting with about a 3-quart pot with about 1 quart of water. You just need about 1 inch or 2 of water in the bottom generating steam. That steam is gonna cook our zabayon. Over that, we're gonna have a bowl. First thing we're gonna do is add our marsala and our gelatin. We're just gonna whisk it until it completely dissolves, and then we're gonna add in our other ingredients. Now we're gonna add in our sugar, salt, a whisk, and then our 6 egg yolks. While we're cooking this, there are many visual cues along the ways that I'm going to point out of what we're looking for, color and texture, but we are cooking to an exact temperature. So I have an instant read thermometer here ready, but I'm going to show you temperature we're going for and the visual cues. So that way you're going to be a pro at this. So this is going to cook for about 10 minutes or so. First half of the cook, don't need to be whisking too crazy. It's thinner, you just want to keep it moving. We're not trying to incorporate too much air yet, and you'll see how my whisking changes as I go. Let's check out where we're at. Just gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl. Anytime where you're not actively moving it or whisking it, just take it off the heat. That's what's great about this setup right here. Just take the bowl off. When it spreads up the side of the bowl, the egg becomes really, really thin. And what that means is it's gonna cook really, really fast. And so, believe it or not, the area you're not the most worried about is it's not the very bottom of the bowl where it's closer to the water. The bottom of the bowl is the same temperature as the sides. And those sides where the egg's really thin is gonna cook really fast. So that's why every so often, stop. Scrape down the sides. You can see the color is now a bit more pale. Obviously the volume's increasing, air is being incorporated in there. So it'll drizzle when you lift it, but it'll quickly drop. It'll go to droplets. I point that out because through the stages, at the beginning, it'll drizzle, droplets will fall off the whisk, then it'll become more of a steady stream, and then we're gonna start to see more ribbons forming. So visual cues that I'm seeing here that's telling me I'm getting pretty close. One is just purely how viscous it looks when I'm whisking. Also, when I lift it, though it's streaming somewhat similar, I'm watching how the stream kind of ribbons up and pools. It's like, it's almost drizzling like a nice chocolate at like barely melted. We're at the final stages here. This is a good time to get your thermometer out. When you're checking the temperature with your instant read thermometer, just take the bowl off the heat. All right, so now we've hit our target temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So a lot of air incorporated. It's very ribbony. So we're gonna set this aside for 10 minutes, allow the temperature to drop. That way when we fold it into our mascarpone, it doesn't break. Now it's time to fold in the zabayon into the mascarpone. Mascarpone can be kind of a tricky ingredient to work with, especially in pastry. If it's too cold, it can be hard to work with. If it gets too warm or even like too tempered, it can easily break. I find working with cold fridge temperature mascarpone to be the lesser of the two evils. So that's what I recommend here. It's going to be bringing a lot of fat, a little bit of richness, sweetness, nutty, velvety texture to the dish. So adding the mascarpone to a bowl here, kind of spreading it out a little bit, creating a little more surface area. I am not beating the mascarpone here. You beat it too much, you run the risk of warming it up, breaking it. Again, it's going to be really hard to fix. We're going to be folding in the zabayon. Just about any time you're folding anything in stages of 3 is highly recommended. I'll take about a third of this, add it in. What I'm going for here is to really soften up the mascarpone. Because mascarpone is a very sensitive ingredient. It's really high in fat, maybe like 75% dairy fat. So even the subtle difference in temperature from this coming out of the fridge, the cheese, and the zabayon around maybe 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, it'll start softening it up really fast. So I'm just moving it around, trying to break up any last large chunks of the cheese. All right, you have the perfect texture. You might see a few little lumps in there. Don't worry about that. This is not the point where you want to walk away from it. You just want to keep folding, preserving all the air that you whipped into the zabayon. You're just folding it in. So the whipped cream is going to be our last thing we're going to fold into the whipped mascarpone. This is going to soften it up even more, make it even lighter. I'm starting with cold, heavy cream from the fridge. Very cold will whip much, much better. And we're going to be adding some sugar to it. One component I like to add to help stabilize my tiramisu is a little bit of xanthan to the whipped cream. This xanthan is going to hydrate and it's going to make it extra silky, like the whipped cream will almost resemble Italian meringue. I like to take the xanthan, add it in with my sugar. All we're doing is using the sugar as a way to help disperse the xanthan. So when you add it to the heavy cream, it doesn't clump up. Because I'm not just whipping this up to simply put on some peaches or on top of a cake, it has a technical purpose in this dish. I'm folding it into the whipped mascarpone. So in the action of folding it in, it's going to be agitated more. Also, when I pipe this or when you spread it on the tiramisu, you're agitating it more. It's going to whip it in a way. So you want to under whip your whipped cream a little bit. So you're not going to want to take it all the way to stiff peaks. Right about medium peaks is just where you want to land with this. Perfect. So now we are going to fold this in. So starting with about a third of the whipped cream. I feel like there's so many different ways you can fold. I'm sure in the comments I will hear what I'm doing wrong. But what I like to do for folding, which I've had great success with, is holding the bowl at an angle here, 45-degree angle, and then just scooping under it and just lifting it over. And it'll just fall over it. And then just turn the bowl, keep going. You're just going to be folding till most of the streaks are gone. I like to give it a little spread. Look at that. It's getting this beautiful like marshmallow taffy texture. And then we're going to add the last of the whipped cream. There you have it. This is our beautiful whipped mascarpone base. There's going to be 3 layers of this in the tiramisu. So right off the bat, I like to load 1/3 into the piping bag. Because this is cooked, some evaporation that's happening. About 300 grams of this whipped mascarpone will be for each layer. So you can load that into a piping bag. The bench scraper, offset spatula, just scrape it down. Ready to get set up for assembly. My favorite part, the assembly of the tiramisu. It's all going to come together here, but to talk about getting your station set, here are the things. It's a Pullman pan. It's a little bit taller. I like to use this because of its height. Got ladyfingers ready over here. We got our coffee syrup dosed out to 90 grams. We're ready to assemble here. So first thing, let's line our pan. This is gonna act like a sling for our tiramisu. Totally optional. I like to just tape the parchment paper to the side, but just put all this work into it. I wanna get this out looking beautiful for nice clean slices. So the first layer on the bottom is gonna be the cookies. So we're gonna start soaking them. Got our 90 grams. It's gonna be 6 ladyfingers. You'll notice with your ladyfinger, there's gonna be 2 sides. One side, it's gonna be pretty coated in sugar. And then one side, the bottom, is gonna be pretty matte. We wanna be dipping the bottom side into the coffee syrup. And then we're gonna put it into the mold like this, upside down. And then gravity is just gonna do the work and the syrup's just gonna carry all the way through it. Tip it to the side, completely submerge, bottom side up. And you just want these spaced apart by 1 millimeter or 2. Reason being is as that coffee syrup works its way through the cookie, they will expand. So the amount of coffee syrup we had was measured out for this exact amount of ladyfingers, these 6. So though we're finished dipping them, these cookies can still absorb a lot more syrup. So now with a pastry brush, spoon, we're just gonna gently pour this over each cookie so that way they're absorbed all the way through. Now we're gonna add our layer of the whipped mascarpone. I'm using a piping bag just because I find that it gets really nice, even layers and helps you get into these like hard to reach spots between the cookies. What I'm first gonna do is pipe it into all the little corners, tamp it down. That's gonna help get rid of any large air pockets, and we'll pipe the rest. Let's give this a couple firm taps to let the whipped mascarpone settle down. Now we're just gonna spread this layer even. Basically, we're just gonna repeat this all the way up. We're gonna soak another layer of ladyfingers, another layer of mascarpone, ladyfingers, and then a final top layer of the whipped mascarpone. I'm just thinking about what kind of designs you might want to put on the top. You could pipe with star tips, beautiful patterns. I'm going for the nice smooth top. And so depending on the vessel you're using for your tiramisu, it might be hard to get in there with an offset spatula. So just simply using a spatula like this, bowl scraper, just something where you can just smooth the top for a nice, clean finish. That is the whole process to make a tiramisu. So at this point, I like to transfer it to a fridge to rest overnight. Minimum 8 hours, but 24 hours is best. You have all that coffee syrup on the cookies. It's still working its way through to the core, soaking all the way up, getting a beautiful dark coffee color throughout it. Also, we add the gelatin, and the mascarpone has so much fat. As that fat chills all the way, it's gonna firm up. So when all of this firms up and it soaks all the way through, when you cut into it, you'll have nice, beautiful slices that you can make to the plate without a plop. So 24 hours in the fridge, this will set up nicely, and we're gonna come back, dust it, and slice it. The time has come to open up this pretty little package here. So we got the sling on both of these sides, but the tiramisu is still in contact with the side of the pan. So what we're gonna do with a knife or palette knife, you're just gonna wanna cut to release it. Tim, can you help me lift this out? Call in your friend. Thank you. So now we're just gonna do a slice between the cake itself, the tiramisu, and the parchment to just release that. Last but not least, cocoa powder. So all we're gonna do here is just dust the top with it. You got a centerpiece tiramisu, a beautiful loaf of sweet coffee dessert. So before slicing, what I recommend doing is soaking your knife in hot water. Well, that warm knife, when it comes in contact with that rich, high-fat dessert, it's gonna slice like butter. It's gonna get beautiful, clean, glossy slices, preserving, giving beautiful portions. This is the best part of the tiramisu, when you finally cross-cut the ladyfingers. So this looks beautiful right now. Looking at how well we soaked the ladyfingers, pretty much soaked all the way through, evenly spaced mascarpone layers with just a fine dusting of cocoa powder on top. Let's break into it. Right off the bat, It's a little bit richer. It's like if tiramisu was leaning a little bit more towards a cheesecake. It's the mascarpone flavor comes through. Coffee really comes through. The ladyfingers, they're completely soaked with just a little bit of cocoa powder. It's so simple, elegant, with a little extra attention and a few extra steps, not many. We're able to make this beautiful cutaway, resulting in awesome, beautiful portions that showcase all the work. This tiramisu is a classic, just taken one step farther.
Subscribe to our channel and visit chefsteps.com for more tips, recipes, guides, and tools to help you level up in the kitchen.